Okay, let me explain why I believe episode 112 is not only my favorite episode, but I believe it's the best episode that I've ever written for Impetus. Starting the show right off the bat, you're drawn into the usually upbeat gangster known as Wazzy D. Only this time he's pissed off, unnaturally, walking through the parking lot with intensity, barging into his locker room. This would only cause the fans to be surprised, as the comedic and happy-go-lucky hero is in a rare and shocking negative emotion. With his partner Barry the Bogan winning a coast-to-coast title opportunity the week before, Wazzy is clearly jealous of that situation and is later seen storming out of the same locker room and then eventually out of the arena. And then he's even followed by Barry the Bogan himself, which actually causes the scheduled coast-to-coast championship match between Barry the Bogan and Warren Jackson to be cancelled and therefore changed into a match against Dylan Dark in an open challenge, injecting the show with the classic anything can happen idea. Not only that, but the show highlighted four huge tag team matches. Now I know what you're thinking, oh my god, ew, 4 tag team matches, how boring, what a repetitive concept. How am I going to go through and sit through and watch or listen to 4 tag team matches on one show? But it's what I do with these tag team matches that makes it interesting, in my opinion. Every tag match has its own story. It goes in its own different direction, hopefully making you want to know how the next one will actually play out. For example, Chris Vortex must find another random tag team partner against the tag team called Empire, desperately choosing the fat and sweaty announcer known as Aaron Cutler. The rookie tag team of the Switchblades have a lot to prove against El Fuego, as they gained a disqualification victory over the tag team champions the week before, but now need to prove themselves against the tag team champions. The Essentials face off against the rising Killers of the Revolution, who both eliminated each other from the Vitality match the week before. And the champion and challenger, Greg Williams and Johnny Fabuloso, must team up in order to face the Condemnation. Now I know what you're thinking, this is another cliche, repetitive thing that wrestling does, is like it pits the rivals, the upcoming opponents in a tag team match. Almost like a waste or like a filler part of the episodes. But again, it's what I do with this tag team match that I find interesting. Let's just say it ends with poetic fashion, and I strongly recommend you go and actually look at the Greg Williams and Johnny Fabuloso rivalry right here. Not only do we focus on a lot of the tag team stuff, but Akira continues to vent about her perceived oversaturation of cosmetics within the business. And not only that, but the show ends with a reverse ritual. We've already had a ritual, now we're going to do the reverse of it. Let me explain the situation here. Charlie Finch wants to place his former love's soul back into her body. It's a long story, but it's a really great one. I strongly recommend you go listen to it. With the demonic duo known as Scar and Susan forced into the reverse ritual, their former rival comes back from the dead to help them. Again, it's a long story. Scar's bitter enemy and former stalker of Susan comes back from the dead and actually protects the siblings. Now I know it sounds like I'm just trying to plug my content to all of you, and I guess I am, but I think this was my strongest, and if it's not, it's one of my strongest shows all up and down the card. I think every match, every segment has its own intrigue. If you want variety, episode 112 is what you want. It has the tension between friends in Wazzy D and Barry the Bogan. It has the comedy in Chris Vortex. The idea of high-flying athleticism in the El Fuego and the Switchblades match. The idea of fluid tag team wrestling in the KOTR and the Essentials contest. The drama and poetry of Greg and Johnny. The character development in Akira, and also the eerie, dark scenes of the the raising of the dead. So as I said, go listen to it. I feel like this is my best episode, as I said, and yet I feel like there's still more to come. Like normally you'll go, that was a mad episode because of the climax, what an end to this rivalry or that rivalry. But I don't know, it feels like there's so much more awesome on the show than usual, and yet there's so much more to come. I hope that makes sense. Essentially, yes, this video is me bigging myself up and telling you guys that I'm great at writing and stuff like that, but I want you guys to listen to episode 112 and tell me that I'm wrong. Granted, you may need to listen to, previous episodes in order to, actually understand what's going on, sort of like the lead up to it and make sense of it all. But based on how I've explained the matches and the segments, I believe you can imagine what's at hand without listening to anything prior to it. I feel like every show that I do, I'm constantly evolving characters and constantly like hitting up different stories and giving you different reasons and issues and examples of how to make wrestling storylines that much better and how to just make wrestling that much better. I truly believe that I have great characters and a great overall show.